Every year when we get to Palm Sunday, the gospel account that we hear, right, is always of the Passion. And I'm always struck by the fact that when we do the Passion, there's these parts, right? There's the Jesus parts that's read by the priest. There's the narrator part. There's the voice part. But particularly, there's the crowd part. Because there's something about when we do the Passion that it really is a story that's not meant to be a spectator story for us, right? Like we have a part to play in it, right? There's something about this story that really it's meant to like pull us in. When I was in high school and then when I got to LSU, there's been, between my youth group and then our college campus ministry, there's been a few times that I've been involved with a passion play. We did a Way of the Cross when I was in high school, and we would act out all the different scenes, right? The condemnation and then the crucifixion, all these things. And then when I got into college, we did like a fuller passion play, and it kind of went through all the narratives that we have in our Gospels. One of the things I learned very quickly is that I get typecasted in a passion play because I'm a 6'1", 6'2" guy that's strong enough to help pick up another human being on a cross, right? And to put them up safely and soundly and not going to drop anybody. So I always get typecasted as the guard whenever I was in these things. So I remember like one year, it was when I was at LSU, we were doing this passion play. We go through all the things. We had like bull whips that we were using and like hitting and all these kind of things. And we were going through all the acting pieces for this play. And what we did was we had the cross that we had, or the beam that we had my buddy carrying, who was playing Jesus. It was about a 6 foot long 4x4. So this thing weighed about 80 pounds. So when he was walking, when he was stumbling, like when he would trip, like this thing had some weight to it, right? When he fell, like for the 3 falls, if you didn't watch out, like this thing could hurt you, right? Like, so we had it all designed, like we had practiced the falling and the dropping, and it made like one heck of a noise. One time we dropped it on a chair that was in the church, and it destroyed this chair. So we were very, very particular and careful about when he falls, like make sure it falls one way, we're kind of standing opposite of it, right? Just didn't want it to hurt anybody. The first night we did it, somebody was in the aisle, like sitting kind of weirdly, like on the aisle, and it was just where we were going to fall, and we didn't want to fall on the person, obviously. So what happened was that like the guy who's playing Simon holds up, the thing falls wrong, it comes down, and when it landed on my buddy Trey, who was playing Jesus. It landed on his big toe. So all of this like 80 pounds just comes down and just destroys his toe. And then like when he hit the ground, I was standing in front of him, and I like looked back because we're all trying to like pay attention to where it drops. And when it drops, I just saw his eyes get like the size of basketballs, and he's just like, like, you know, like we got music going on and other things. There's a big bang and clang and all this kind of stuff that happens. But like, I'm like, ooh, he is messed up, right? So we get him, and I've got to play the guard. So I'm like, get up, I don't care, like, or whatever. And he is like, now he's suffering, right, walking the rest of the way, like Via Dolorosa the whole way, right? We get to the end, we put him up on the cross. We get to Calvary, we get to the scene. A friend of ours, so he's up on the cross like this in front of everybody, and a friend of ours was sitting with like the crowd, was one of like the weeping women that was right in front, and she leans over to a friend of hers while a song was being sung, and she says, like, now we had done like some like, we were trying to do like our like best amateur makeup, right, kind of stuff to like show wounds and scars and all these things on them. And it was our friend, she leans over and she goes, it's so impressive the way they got the makeup. And somebody was like, yeah, and she says, like, I can even see the blood dripping from his foot. And it's like, he lost his big toenail. That's why, like, it was like, he was just pouring, like, it was bad, it was rough, like, looked like a UFC fight kind of thing. Like, it was bad. But, like, when this is going on, like, I just remember, though, when we were going through this and, like, channeling it, like, everything in me wanted to be like, Trey, are you okay, right? But because we're doing this and because, like, we're trying to, like, enter into the story, there's, like, a ruthless element that was attached to it. I don't care that you heard, get up, keep walking, right? Interestingly enough, when we pray with the Passion, like, it can be a very, very familiar story, but if we're really open to it, we're meant to be invited into it. which is why I think the parts is so interesting. Think of some of the words that the crowd just said. You've saved others, now save yourself. Barabbas. What do I do with him? Crucify him. Like there's some intense language that's said whenever we enter into Holy Week, when we enter into praying and reflecting on the Passion. There's some very, very intense language. We want him dead. Capital punishment, yes. Get rid of him. Shut him up. It's interesting because when we go into this week, there is a part of us that when we enter into this story, this is really our story. It's not meant to be a spectator story. It's not meant to be where we watch Jesus from afar do something and we're just quiet as a bystander. But no, we really enter into this story. When the movie The Passion came out, right? Modern kind of depiction of the story that we just heard, right? Famous depiction, 20 years ago it came out. When it came out, there was an interview that was done with Mel Gibson. Because it was going to be such a big movie, it was going to be such an had all this hype and everything around it. There was an interview that was done with Mel Gibson because he was the director, and whenever it was done, they asked him, they said, being that it's such a big movie, being that you're such a big star, that you've been in all these different things, why are you not in the movie? And he responded, he said, actually I am. And they said, well, where do you make like a cameo, like where we could see you in the crowd, or are you like in the background, or are you like something like this? And he said, no, actually you don't see my face, you only see my hands. And they said, well, what part is it? And he said, it's actually the crucifixion. Because at the crucifixion, if you remember the scenes, when the nailing takes place, you only see the hands of the guard. And Mel Gibson said, those are my hands that are putting the nail on his hands, that it's swinging the hammer and the whole nine. He said, that's my hands. And he said, really, why would you only do that at those hands, like at that point? And he said, because that's all it contributed to the story. That this is our story, right? Archbishop Fulton Sheen, in the mid 1900s, right? He had written a poem that kind of took this theme on. And this is the very beginning of it. He said, the life of each and every one of us has been written. The crucifix is my autobiography. The blood is the ink, the nails the pen, the skin the parchment. On every line of that body, I can trace my life. He goes on in the poem just to talk about the crown of thorns and how that's my pride. Or he goes on to say the hands that are being nailed to the cross, that's my greed. Or the lacerations across his flesh, that's my lust. And those are things, right? Like I remember being a kid at St. Mary's and hearing teachers when looking at the way of the cross, looking at the Passion, saying things like, our sins put Jesus on the cross. Or if Jesus died, if it was only us that needed to be redeemed, Jesus would have died, and it would have been enough. Like all these kind of things. And it's true that my story is written, can be traced out on every line on Jesus, on every wound on Jesus, right? It's a true statement, but it's also that the story is much bigger than just punishment. The story is much, much bigger than just punishment. The story is also one of redemption and of love. You see, sometimes we can overly focus on, my own guilt that has put Jesus there, my own wound, my brokenness, my sins, my struggle, and all of those things are true, right? The original sin is real, sin is bad, right? And that did remove us from God, and God made a way and paid the price that was owed to us of death so that we don't have to die, and that Jesus would do it in our place. That is true. But the reality is that Jesus wasn't this slave to go and to do this and was bitter about it. Redemption is a gift. And the reality is that when we go through this week, that God gives us the gift of his son, the gift of redemption, right? And what he does is that he makes a way so that you and I can get back to him. Over the course of Lent, we've been talking about this, of the idea that our relationship with God is exactly that. It's a personal relationship with God. That's a word, those are phrases that have been taken by a lot of our Protestant brothers and sisters, and like it's become a quote-unquote Protestant thing. Prayer is relationship. Prayer is personal, y'all. And if there's something that we celebrate this week, is that we have a personal God that made a personal way so that you and I could be saved. And that's worth celebrating. That God has no limit to how far he'll go. He has no limit to the way in which he wants to show us his love. Like when Jesus enters into the passion and dies on our behalf, right? He's not surprised by our sin. He's not intimidated by our sin. He's not worried about us. He's not overly concerned. He's not condemning us. He doesn't fear it, right? When he enters into this week, he does so as a sign of love, as a gift of a redemption for you and I. This past, through the course of Lent, just a personal thing, it's been really cool to do a lot of extra confession time. Every Tuesday night, we've been having confession, and this Tuesday we have it as well. And if you haven't gone in a long time, great, please come. But it's been really cool because we have adoration and confession going on for an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, 2 hours, wherever it is, until I can get out and actually come do a benediction. But over the course of the last 5 or 6 weeks, however long it's been since Lent, I have had legitimately about 15 to 20 minutes total that I haven't had somebody coming to confession in that time, which is awesome. I don't know if you understand, from a priest's perspective, the confessional can be very, very boring when nobody shows up, but it's an amazing gift whenever everybody shows up, and it really has been. That's on top of the people at 8:15, whenever I'm finally wrapping up 7 o'clock Mass, and I walk in and I see 25 people lined up and ready to come to confession before 9 o'clock Mass, and I'm just Hail Mary, whatever, get out, go, 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 right? Like assembly line kind of style. It's just really, really beautiful to be able to do that. The reason why I'm bringing up confession, though, is because there's a theme that I've heard in confession a good bit over the last couple of weeks that I just want to call out. I'm not going to name a person, obviously, but it's just something that I hear from time to time that comes up in confession or in private conversation where somebody might be overwhelmed. Now, you may be sitting there thinking, Father, you are speaking my language, right? Finals is coming up, graduation's coming up, I don't know what's going on, right? All these kind of things. But there's times whenever we feel overwhelmed, and there's this kind of popularized pop culture, hallmarky greeting card kind of Catholicism that works in that I just despise and I want to call out. Because there's this idea, and it usually sounds one of two ways. Number one, I just need to give it to God, is one phrase I'll hear. Or I call it the hallmark heresy of let go and let God. And when I hear let go and let God, I think of a nice wooden frame, probably some frilly script, maybe a flower on it, right? Hanging up in my mom's kitchen, right? Something like that. But anyway, and if you have that and you want to take a picture and send it to me, I'm going to apologize a lot, and then we're going to burn it. So anyway, but the reason why I say that, because the movement, think of this, okay? The movement of I'm overwhelmed, I'm struggling, I don't trust God as much as I think I'm supposed to, right? So I'm going to let go and let God, or I'm going to give it to God, right? Whatever it is, the struggle, the anxiety, whatever. I'm just going to go to God and be here, God, you take it. And now I don't have to worry anymore. And now everything's good. Right? I just have to go and walk up to Jesus and be here, you take this, and now that you have it, I don't have to have it, right? So I go to pray and I say, you take it, God, and it's it's good and it's therapeutic for 10 minutes, and then I walk out the chapel and I get a text message and nothing has changed. But I'm supposed to let go and let God. I'm supposed to give it to God. And then once I give it to God, everything's good, right? The reason why I think it's wrong is because it's backwards. God doesn't expect us to just give him our problems. And then magic, poof, they go away. Abracadabra, boom, gone, good. It's the exact opposite of the mission of Christ. Like from the very beginning, from whenever Jesus was prophesied in the Old Testament of who he was going to be, it's God with us, right? God steps down, becomes man. God with us, right? Like Emmanuel, God with us. What we see this week is that promise of God with us, that God is not only with us when stuff's good, but God is also with us through hell and back. God is with us whenever we're struggling. God is with us whenever we're hurting. God is with us whenever we're scared. God is with us whenever we're anxious. God is with us whenever we're abandoned. God is with us whenever we fall. God is with us, hard stop, all the time, no matter what. So let go and let God, or just give it to God, is the exact opposite. Because God, I need you to come down and to be with me in my junk. And what we see this week, what we see in the passion that we just celebrated, what we see in the way of the cross that we pray on a weekly basis, right? What we see whenever we enter into Holy Week and we walk with Jesus is that it's not only us as a bystander, it's not only us being in Jesus' story in Jerusalem, walking through and doing all the things, but it's also Jesus entering into my story and meeting me where I need him and speaking to me when I'm weak. Because there are plenty of times that whenever I'm going through my life that I fall flat on my face. And guess what? It's a hell of a lot more than 3 times. But Jesus has been there. He's done it. He knows it. There's plenty of times that the burdens that have been put on my back are not my doing. It's unjustly put there. It's things that I've been asked to do, I've been told to do, I've been forced to do that I don't want to do and I don't like, and it feels like a burden and it feels aggravating and it feels heavy, and the thing fell and broke my freaking toe. But Jesus has been there. Receives his cross. Accepts his cross. There are plenty of times in my life, I don't know about you, that I've been unjustly condemned. I've been talked about in unjust ways or in just ways, things that I've done to mess up or things that other people have done, and they put it on me, right? And I've been unjustly condemned. I've been unjustly judged. I've been told that I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm not good enough, I'm not tall enough, I'm not hot enough, I'm not whatever, right? And it doesn't matter. Like, the reality is that Jesus has been there. He knows what it feels like to be told you're not enough. He's been there where he needs somebody to help him carry something. He's been there when he needs somebody to give him a little bit of a reprieve and wipe his face. He's been there and he's been stripped in front of people, completely vulnerable, so that everybody sees all of his weakness and all of his wounds. He's been there. So when we go into Holy Week, we're not going into Holy Week just as a bystander, just walking with Jesus in Jerusalem, but Jesus is walking with us as well. He meets us as well. He reveals his love to us as well. And he's not intimidated. He's not surprised. He's not angry. But he does it completely out of love. Because I want to be with you. I want to reveal my love to you. I want you to know me, and I want to know you. When things are easy, love feels great, right? When things are easy, love looks like a fairy tale. It's whenever things are hard, that's when love is tested. That's when love is proven. That's when love is fortified. And this week, we get to walk with Jesus, and Jesus walk with us through hard. May, as we come to Mass today, we not take for granted the gift that the Lord gives us. Not only in this Eucharist, but the gift that the Lord gives us in this week. That as we walk with Jesus, he walks with us. And he meets us in the depths and in the places that we're weakest. Not out of condemnation, not out of anger, but where he shows us and reveals his love to us. Sheen said it. On every line of that body, I can trace my life. My shortcomings, yes. But so much more powerful is the redemption that is being gifted to us. May today, as we come to Mass, that we allow the Lord to meet us where we are today as he steps down to come down, to comfort us, to be with us, and to lift us up.